Hey, I'm Trey Mouter. I produce the 2-hour comedy hour here at Gallery Cabaret. It's every Saturday.
So I've been scrounging for money. I was an extra in this movie they're shooting downtown. I don't know if you heard of it. It's called like Cheaters or something like that. It's directed. Yeah, it's based on a shitty TV show. Directed by Ron Howard for some reason. Ron Howard's directing it. Kevin James is in it. Kevin James, as it turns out, not funny in person. Weird. Vince Vaughn was in it. He played a fast-talking schmoozer who's only charming to Hollywood executives. But it was weird though, because I've been telling my buddies that, and they're like, "Oh, hey, you're an extra. Hey, wow, yeah, you're moving on up." And I was like, "No, you don't get it. I responded to a Craigslist ad. Like there wasn't an audition. I went in a room with Ron Howard, and he's like, "Hey, can you walk on command?"
This show and the Gallery Cabaret go really well together. The weird, kind of awkward vibe of the show and the intimate environment of Gallery Cabaret work really well together. If you get just a handful of people, it feels really packed and the energy is really high in the small space. It feels really intimate. You know, you're feet from the comedians. So it's a really unique, intimate experience. Me walking up to someone and being like, "Hey, I really like 60s music, especially the Beatles," and then being like, "Oh yeah, and like the Monkees," is like the same thing, the exact same thing actually, as me walking up to someone and being like, "Hey, I really like bubbly beverages, especially Dr. Pepper," and then them being like, "Oh yeah, and like hydrogen peroxide." It's a very underground scene. It's huge. There's so many good comedians, but you'll get to see some of them in this show. I've had guys on here that have done Comedy Central, and I've had guys on here that just started.
And we are Clinkety Clank. You see, we're a Japanese noise band, only we're not Japanese, and we're from Schaumburg.
Right. Actually, we're not even English. We picked these English accents up at Walgreens. They were on sale 2 for 1. So.
Actually, we live in Humboldt Park. There's lots of shirtless Puerto Ricans, lots of hipsters that wear bird cages on their head because it's artsy. So we decided that the new term that we are is Puerto Ripsters.
That's right. Sometimes in Humboldt Park you get scared. You're like, "Oh my God, that's a gunshot." Nope, it's just Puerto Ricans lighting off fireworks, being excited about being Puerto Rican on Tuesday. So don't worry about that, they're just excited.
I don't necessarily book on experience or talent level. I book on people that are doing something different with their comedy. You're gonna have some really unique moments at the show, some really awkward moments, but hopefully it's fun and weird. It's kind of what I aim for.
I need donations from you guys, and I'm really glad that this was just here because it works out for me. What I need is all of your used and old and new scorpions, okay? Because the protest that we're starting is that we're going to very tall buildings. And we're taking all of your buckets of scorpions and we're dropping them on the passerbys below. It's called Scorpion Rain. It's just sort of our way of saying, "Hey guys, aren't you glad it's not raining scorpions every day, guys?"
You know what I mean?
Wakes you up, makes you think.
Ouch, that hurt. I won't think about bad things again, you know what I mean? Exactly.
So I'll just set this here.
Ouch, that hurt. I guess my relationship's not so bad after all, you know what I mean? Another thing we're doing is called alligator freedom, okay? There's a lot of small alligators that are very sad because they got washed away in New Orleans, all right, a long time ago. We've given all of those alligators very tiny paintbrushes and given them the freedom to do art, okay? Because, hey guys, alligators deserve to do art too, guys. You know what I mean?
I like comedy that makes you think sometimes, and a lot of the guys on my show will make you think. I'm trying to get people that are taking a different approach with their comedy that not only will make you laugh, but will do it in a different way.
Have you ever thought about like what your last words be? Like if you're on death row and you're about to be executed, like what would your last words be if you're on death row? I don't know. All right. So you're not a poet. That's cool. You and Walt Whitman would go down differently. I'm pretty sure my last words would be a 20-year monologue. I would filibuster my death for as long as I could. I'd talk about anything, just be like, yeah, driveways are super important. How else are you supposed to get your car to the garage? All right, coming up next, ladders followed by orangutan. And you may be saying, well, Joe, you need to sleep at some point, and that's true. So what I'd do is I'd leave them with a cliffhanger and be like, all right, you guys, I'm going to go to sleep. And you can kill me if you want. But if you do, you don't get to find out who really killed Kennedy. I'll see you in 8 hours. And then I'd wake up, they'd be like, so who really killed Kennedy? I'd be like, cancer, it was Ted Kennedy, ha-ha! Now I'm going to talk about towels for 2 hours.
90% of the show is the show that I want to see. I try to book the show I want to see, because if the crowd doesn't like someone, I want it to come back on me. Since I'm so obsessed with the Beatles, it makes it really easy to figure out if I'm going to be able to be friends with someone, like right off the top. All I have to do is ask them these 3 questions. What's your favorite Beatles album? Okay. What's your favorite Beatles album besides the White Album? And can you name a Beatles album besides the White Album? Yeah, like, I don't claim to be an expert on music, but I do claim not to know much about anything else. It's the 2-hour comedy hour at Gallery Cabaret. It's a free show every Saturday. Donation only, $5 suggested. Doors open at 6:30, so get here early if you can. We're usually done at 9.